Have you ever had that happen? A weird interaction, a moment of stress, and it just sticks to you for hours. You try to shake it off, but it just hangs around, this low-level anxiety that you can't quite get rid of. It is one of the most frustrating feelings, and pretty much all of us have been there. Well, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down a really powerful, super practical method for getting a handle on exactly those feelings. It's called the break method, and it's a tool you can use in real time to get some space. So here's how we're going to do it. First, we're going to really define the problem. What is this emotional attachment thing? Then we'll get right into the 5-step break method. After that, we'll look at the 2 different modes our minds operate in, which explains why this whole thing works. And finally, we'll talk about how you can actually use this stuff in your day-to-day life. Okay, let's dive in. Before we can talk about a solution, we really have to understand what we're up against. Why do these feelings have such a grip on us? Right, so what we're dealing with here isn't just, a bad mood that passes in a few minutes. We're talking about a persistent inner reaction. It can latch on for hours, and it's because it's connected to these really deep-seated impressions inside of us that just keep bubbling up. And this is the key to why they're so stubborn. These feelings aren't just on the surface. They're actually rooted in what the source material calls 8 different layers of our being. We're talking everything from our physical body and our mind, all the way to our ego and even past karma. That's why just telling yourself to be positive almost never works. The roots of the problem go way, way deeper than that. But here's the good news. That doesn't mean we're helpless. There is a tool, a really clever acronym, that's designed to be used right in the heat of the moment, just as you feel that attachment taking over. Let's get into the break method. So it's BREAK, behold, recognize, and awaken, and keep returning. It's basically a sequence that walks you from being totally swamped by a feeling to just calmly observing it. So let's break down what each of these steps really looks like. First up, B is for behold. This just means you stop and watch what's happening in your head. The best way to think about it is like your thoughts are just clouds passing by in the sky. You're not the cloud, you're the sky. And to help with that, you bring your focus back to your body. Feel your feet on the floor, notice your posture, it grounds you. Next is R for recognize. This is where you put a label on it. You see that feeling of anxiety and you just acknowledge, that's a thought, it's not you. And the most powerful thing you can do here is ask yourself, am I this thought? And the answer is always, always no. You are the one noticing the thought. Huge difference. Then we have E for end. Now this is a really active step. Once you've seen the thought is separate from you, you end the illusion that you're tangled up in it. You're basically creating a little bit of mental distance, some breathing room between you, the observer, and that thought or feeling you're observing. A is for awaken. This is where you call in the big guns, your discerning intellect. That's the wise, calm, reflective part of you. By activating it, you create a pause, and that pause is everything. It stops that automatic, knee-jerk emotional reaction and gives you the chance to choose how you want to respond instead. And last, K for keep returning. Look, your mind is gonna wander. That's just what minds do. So this step is all about being gentle with yourself. When you notice you've gotten swept away again, you just gently guide your awareness back, like a pendulum swinging back to the middle. A simple mantra like Om Shanti, which means I am peace, can be a really great anchor for this. So that's the how-to. Now let's get into the why. Why does this actually work? To get it, we need to understand this kind of internal battle that's always happening between 2 different modes of our mind. So on one side, you've got what we can call the default mind. This is a part of you that's reactive, impulsive, and loves getting stuck in anxious loops. But on the other side, you have your discerning intellect. This is the reflective, wise part of you. It's like a lamp that brings clarity. The whole point of the break method is to practice shifting from that reactive default mind over to your wise discerning intellect. And this leads to maybe the most important idea in this whole thing, the difference between an event and an incident. See, an event is just something that happens. It's neutral. But an incident, that's the personal story our default mind creates about the event, a story that's all colored by our ego and our feelings. This example makes it so clear. Your dad is angry. That's an event. It's happening over there. But the moment you feel his anger is happening to you, that it's a personal attack, and you react with your own anxiety, boom. It just became an incident inside your head. So just think about it for a second. How many times a day does this happen? Your boss sends a one-word email. A friend cancels plans. These are just neutral events.
But does your mind keep them that way? Or does it instantly spin a story, an incident, about how you're in trouble or your friend is mad at you? Just noticing this pattern is a huge first step.
Okay, this is all great in theory, but how do we actually pull this off in the messy, complicated real world? Especially in areas like our relationships or when we just plain mess up. Well, in relationships, it's all about using that discerning intellect. It means you can get clear on what you actually need. You can communicate that without demanding things. And, this is a big one, you can start to see your partner's emotional outbursts as events, not personal attacks. It allows you to stay calm even if there's a storm happening around you.
So what about when you try this and it doesn't work? You get sucked into an attachment for hours, even though you know better. Well, that's not a failure. Think about it like this quote about Thomas Edison.
Every single setback is just more data. It's a learning opportunity. Each time you get hooked by a feeling, your discerning intellect gets a chance to see how it happened, to learn the pattern, and to get that much stronger for the next time. It's like building a muscle. And this really gets to the heart of it. The goal isn't to become some kind of emotionless robot. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about taking those episodes of anxiety that used to last for 4 or 5 hours and shortening them to maybe 4 or 5 minutes. That's a huge win, and it comes from consistent, kind practice.
And that really is the whole point. Starting right now, you have a choice. You can learn to see the difference between what's actually happening out there in the world and the story your mind is telling you about it. So I'll leave you with this to take with you. What event today will you choose not to make an incident?